Welcome to the Wine Zone. I'm Conrad Ejbich and this is Pro&Kon. Today my guest is Steven Trenholme. Charles is a sales and marketing consultant in the wine industry, but I've invited him today because of one particular part of his business, and that is that he teaches people how to be successful wine agents in Canada, how to be good importers, how to make money at this wine business, because there's not a lot of money left in it after liquor boards get their chunk. And so Steven's website is canmarketwine.com. Now, welcome to the show, Steven.
Thank you, Conrad.
Now, can I call you the Tony Robbins of the Ontario agents?
No, I think that might be a little bit of an exaggeration, given the small groups that I talk to, and I don't. The seminar isn't get rich.
No, of course not.
Kind of a program. It's basically, in very practical terms, just outlines the business.
Okay, we'll get to the program in a second. I want to talk to you a little bit about yourself. So now you started off about the same time I did, in the early 80s, late 70s. What was your first job in the trenches?
My very, very first job was working with a woman named Mary Gunn, or Mary Dinnick.
Dinnick Gunn, of course.
She had a small agency called English Gunn.
Yes. And
I was fresh out of university and wanted to get into the wine business, and she gave me my first opportunity.
And what an opportunity it was to get sort of stuck in this business.
Yeah, and there's been other offers from other industries over the years, but I've remained in this industry because.
You mean like finance or medicine?
Yeah,
brain
in fact,
surgeons.
Mary's husband, John Dinnick, was the chair of the company that was to become Scotia McLeod.
Wow.
So this is when it was a private company, and he was the chair of that company, and he said, did you want to become a stockbroker?
Right.
And of course I thought about it, and I thought, nah.
So, do I want to drink wine, or do I want to make millions of dollars? No. So now that's as I said, that's in the 70s, 80s. The market has evolved hugely since those early days. The products are different, the lifestyle is different, but do you get a sense that there's a rotating cycle of trends? Or is it just completely different?
Well, I don't know if it's different. I mean, it's evolved. The liquor board still operates, as the sole purchaser of imported products. They've changed their methods, but they're still the only game in town if you're an import agent. What's happened, I think, at the top of the market, there's been, as you're well aware, there's been a real consolidation of big companies. So, you have the Diageos and Pernod Ricards of the world and so forth, and then you have big national companies like Chardonnay Hobbs, Philippe Danderat, perhaps the Mark Anthony Group would be the three big ones. But since the introduction of the consignment warehouse, there's been a real proliferation of new agents. So there's a lot of agents who are...
What you're saying is that there are real opportunities even if you're not with a huge company. There are opportunities to start your own.
Well, I think that there certainly are opportunities because of one simple fact. There are still suppliers who are not represented. And at the heart of this business, there's a relationship that exists between the agent and the supplier. So the agent's job is to get the supplier's product into the market through one channel or another. And if there weren't suppliers to represent, then the business itself would basically wouldn't come to a stop, of course, but there wouldn't be any opportunities for people to enter the market.
No, of course.
But there's still lots of suppliers looking for agents.
Well, yeah, but at the same time, there's like the liquor board always says, we don't have rubber walls, right? There's only room for a certain number of products in the store because of the way the system has evolved. We don't have, if you don't go to this store, you can go to the other store. No, all the stores source from the same brand, so it's difficult to get a new brand in.
Well, that's true to a certain extent, but there are certainly exceptions. And on the general list, it's very difficult to get a new product listed on the general list to compete with, Yellowtail or or Blue Nun or any of these mass merchandise products. Now, through the vintages channel, the people who run vintages will tell you that in their perfect world, 50% of the products that they bring in on their first line releases, which are those products that appear in their catalog, they want to be new products.
They would like them to be new, right?
Ideally, they would like them to be new. It's a bit of a challenge, of course, because you have an existing supplier or existing brand, existing type of wine that has found an audience and will sell if it's made available. But in order to bring in a new one, you basically have to stop ordering that product and give this new product a chance. And
makes it hard to build a brand.
It makes it a little bit difficult. And then, of course, there's always suppliers who are ambitious, that are prepared to do the work that's required. There's agents that are ambitious, that are prepared also to do the work on behalf of their suppliers. So, I think it's incumbent on the liquor board to continually bring in new products. Now, that we're talking about the general list and vintages, of course, but there's this whole new area. It's not really new anymore. I guess it's about 15 years old now, this consignment warehouse channel. And the agents who participate in that channel, I think the last figure I read was there's over 30,000 SKUs, different types of product, go through consignment, compared with 3,500 SKUs that go through the general list, or pardon me, vintages, and 1,500 SKUs that go through the general list. So, there's all these agents bringing in new products and finding new customers, and I think slowly people are being encouraged to purchase products through them. There's a number of websites.
So even the liquor board has somehow opened the line to the consignment warehouse now, so that individuals, I think, through the web can order consignment products.
They can certainly order it online through the LCBO's website, and also these country-specific stores that they have. For instance, the Greek store in the Danforth, and
we have a kosher store very close to
kosher store up here, and then there's the store in the Kingsway, for whatever reason, is the designated Spanish store, and Woodbridge is the designated Italian store. And there are consignment products that are being merchandised on a retail level in those stores as well.
Right, which might actually make it a little difficult to get them outside of those areas.
Although I think, as we spoke a minute ago, they do have this online portal, which I have had very little experience with. I've ordered some product just to see how it worked.
Right.
But I think if the product's available in another store, then it can be made available to people who order it online.
We both know how difficult it is for industry people dependent on the liquor board to talk about the liquor board. Can you talk a little bit about what it's like for agents? Because you're training them, you're teaching them how to deal with the board. What do you say to them?
Well, the first thing I do in the seminar, apart from the overview of what's going to be covered that day, is I detail the organization of the liquor board and the key people and their roles. So a new agent will know who they have to speak to in order to get some feedback about a product that they might want to bring to market. And I have to say that I mean, when you and I got into this business, there was like 2 or 3 people that all the buy, or one
Bob Galishon.
Bob Galishon, and hardly after her. And
then
there was an Eric Jarvie guy, and that flew in from England to choose products for the liquor board, because of course we
Ron Flatt, of course,
and then Ron Flatt after him, and so forth. But now, of course, there's category managers, product managers, unit directors, and so forth, and they all have a role in the buying decision. The product consultants are on the tasting panels.
It's a more democratic system now.
One would hope that it is, yes.
Or cover your ass system, whichever way you want to look at it.
I don't know. I mean, I've been in this business for a long time. I see the people who work hard, get ahead. I think, in some respects, it's a reflection of it. I think, I might be misquoting him, but I think it was Peter Drucker, the great management guru, who said, and this is showing how old the quote is, "You live and die by your Rolodex." For those people who don't know what a Rolodex was.
Yeah, that was good old days.
It's before an electronic databases. You actually kept people's business cards in a file. and it rolled, so they call it a Rolodex. So those agents who have good suppliers, who make good wine, that have the attention of the international critics, generally speaking, have a better chance of having their products ordered by the liquor board, because the liquor board wants to have those products available for their customers, because their customers demand the best products that are available.
Talk to me about some of those people who you've trained. Some of the examples of people who you've. I think Alex Pitino came in at one point with Fusion, one of the most successful wines in the country.
Well,
Alex
was one of my students. We
differ as to when he took the course. It was either 1993 at the very beginning or 1995. And at that time, Alex was in his 20s, just out of university, an ambitious guy. Had already kind of made a little bit of a foray in the industry, had taken advantage of the Christmas warehouse to bring in some products. At first, of course, reflecting his Greek Cypriot background.
That's right, he was specializing.
Yeah,
that's one of the things you suggest, is that if you have knowledge in an area, if you're Ukrainian, you have Ukrainian wines. We don't have Ukrainian wines. Bring in Ukrainian wines, and you may have success with Ukrainian wines.
Well, that's absolutely true.
Yeah.
The market has become incredibly fragmented, and liquor board, because it is a government agency, is required to make all kinds of products available to different.
Well, it wants to make money. So, and if there's a market for a product, it will sell it.
It certainly wants to make money, but at the same time, it also has a responsibility to our diverse community to make products available to them. And one of the products that
was probably listed maybe about a decade ago, but it was Polish beer.
Polish beer was the first one.
Poles in Canada and Ontario for multiple generations, but their community wasn't really well served. But
Correct.
By bringing in those Polish beers, they do huge.
Oh yeah, and look what it started. There are huge numbers of it. And so liquor board, let's look after Armenian Brandy. Okay, we want Armenian Brandy back here. So okay, give me another example.
Well, and I'm not going to take. Generally,
It's okay. Plug them.
Well, yeah,
clients.
certainly. But what I'd like to say is that I haven't really made anybody successful.
No. Obviously,
but
you've helped them.
I've helped
You're
them.
the fixer. You're the facilitator.
Yeah. What they'll say after the seminar and in passing, they'll say, I saved them an awful lot of time.
Exactly.
Because certainly the liquor board has their own website with lots of information on how to deal with them, but the piece of how to deal with suppliers and how to bring product to market, there's no source of that information other than my seminar.
Correct.
Or trial and error, and trial and error can be very time-consuming.
Well, that's why I say you're their salvation, because they're going to either lose a lot of time and a lot of money, or they can skip that over and start working at it, start building their market. Right?
yeah.
So other people, recently the news was that BMW Wines was purchased by Verts Beverage.
BMW, it's Brave New Wines.
No, B ampersand W.
B
So
ampersand W.
that was Bender and Wasserman. So
Okay.
it's Howard Wasserman's
yes.
agency with Jim Lister. Jordan Bender, his original partner, was kind of a silent partner, and it was really Howard, and then later on Jim that built the business. Well, It was announced last week that they've sold their agency to Verts Beverage, which is a U.S.-based company that's come into Canada to be the sales force on behalf of initially Diageo's products.
Excellent.
So,
It's all coming full circle.
Ken Hayden at Appalachian Wines, Margaret Hobbs at Hobbs and
Very,
Co.
very successful now in partnership with Andrew Howard.
Matthew Naranjo at Terroir Wines.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, so there's
Yeah, so folks, this
process.
guy will get you success if you
Well,
start. Without your help. Okay, so tell me about this one. You brought in a wine for us because this is special to you.
Well, in a number of ways it's special. When I first got into the business, as a salesperson working for an agency, German wines were very, very popular. And
Absolutely.
one of the things that I did to gain a little bit of international wine education is I took the German Wine Academy.
At close to Eberbach.
Eberbach, and one of the properties that we visited was the Deinhardt Estates. And then going forward in my career, I worked for a company called Meagher's, which was a division now of this multinational Pernod Ricard, and we were the agents for Deinhardt. So again, there was a an association with Dinehard. And then most recently, I'm doing some consulting for an agency called Signature Wines and Spirits, and they're now the agents.
Brian Banyard.
Of
Oakville, yeah.
For Wegeler Dinehard.
Oh, okay.
So it's kind of comes around in a circle, and but I think one of the kind of the humorous things about it is that you and I, we've been in this business for a long time, and we've seen trends develop. We've seen the Chardonnay trend, we've seen the blush trend. Now, of course, this Pinot Grigio trend doesn't seem to want to die out anytime soon.
Too bad.
And we've all sat there, and said, one day Riesling will be a trend, And certainly there's lots of great Riesling.
Michael Mondavi said that it is possible to make Riesling a huge success. You just have to rename it. Right? You just have to give it a new name, because as Riesling, it'll never go anywhere.
Well, there might be some truth to that.
Too many people have too many ideas of what it is, and it's too confusing.
Well, it's probably the most complex varietal.
It's
all of them,
fantastic.
right? It goes
This
from
is
being bone dry to honey sweet. So.
and this is neither. It's neither bone dry nor is it honey sweet. And it is so delicious. It's mouth-watering. It's honeyed and pear. Is this still available?
No, not.
This is a 2012.
Yeah, no, not at this time. Occasionally the Wegeler Dinehard wines appear in vintages, but as you know, that it's unfortunate, but that whole German category is kind of dried up. Vintages releases so very little. It's telling when they announce a call for new submissions of German wines, it's combined with Austria and Portugal.
Yeah. Although there's hope, because with the current cocktail trend, and then slightly sweeter cocktails, maybe they'll come back to delicious. I hate to call them sweet wines. I like to call them ripe wines.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And the thing that I've always noticed when you serve German wine, young people, millennials, really like them.
Everybody likes them if they don't know what they are.
I think what's indicative is when Schmidt-Sona released that product, Relax. Their target market was millennials, and it's done extremely well. Right. And when it was first released, all the other German suppliers, oh no, it'll never. It's too modern. And
it's simplicity on the label. It doesn't have all this confusing, fancy lace work and
that's right.
Old lettering, etc., etc. So it's simple. It's interesting. So that's interesting to get. Thank you for sort of explaining the market a little bit for us and where the opportunities are. There are opportunities in this market. Thanks for coming in, Steven.
Oh, thank you very much.
And thank you for watching. So my guest has been Charles Steven Trenholme, and you can check him out at www.canmarketwine, all one word.com, and don't put in the all one word part, just canmarketwine.com. Okay, I'm Conrad Ejbich. Join me again soon for another episode. We'll have another interesting wine pro to chat with. Thanks for watching. Bye.